Hello goblins, it's Chris, Eldritch Pipes. Back with episode 2 of Dear Eldritch. I've got a couple of questions that I thought would be quite interesting to answer. So we'll get to those in a moment. I'm smoking the Dunhill version of the Dark Flake. One of my most favourite all-round blends. It's a very quiet blend. It's just, sometimes you just want to come right down to mellow. And for me, Dark Flake does that. I'll show you a completed commission. If you were watching the previous episode, this one was almost done, but it was getting a sandblast and a stain. This is the fellow now. The blast came out really nice. You can see the structure of the grain as well. It would have nearly made it an awesome smooth. Nearly. You can do the straight grain. More or less straight grain, not exactly, but very close. All travelling up the bowl. There's birds on the bottom there. It's slightly harder to tell, but it is there. They're kind of dotted around the top as well. And then there's the blue Cumberland. Which I'm super happy with. It's been a little while since I've made a green pipe. And I'm really pleased with that guy. I have a special stain for green pipes. It's my own little secret. So no one does this quite the colour of green that I do. The pipe is going to be a giveaway. It's coming along now. I did a fair bit of whittling away. Some more to do. Some more shaping out. But coming along, I might just do him in a chocolate sandblast and let the colour of the moss green Cumberland kind of shine there. And with a chocolate blast, then the rugged plateau will kind of just shine. So, I might do a video about that giveaway this week if we're lucky. Depends how some other work goes. We shall see. But now, what have we here? Dear Eldritch, what's your preference on finishing a pipe? Wax versus shellac? And have you ever messed around with shellac at all? Also, have you tried Sutliff's Voodoo Queen, Tim Holland? Tim is, what is your username? It's ... something on YouTube. And that's his pipe. We were just looking at the green and blue. Favourite finish on a pipe. Okay, so this is, I don't know if you know Tim. For everyone else, Tim is are you slowly picking up pipe making, or are you some way in? We haven't discussed pipe making that much, a tiny little bit. Anyway, pipe making is definitely something Tim was looking into. I don't know if you know Tim, or any of you other guys know, but finishing a pipe, products for finishing pipes, cause probably the biggest arguments, not in pipe maker world, but in pipe smoker world. The kind of self-proclaimed experts and keyboard warriors. So, I have actually written about this before. There's three main products that come under discussion when we talk about finishing pipes, aside from carnauba wax, which is like the final finish, usually no matter what pipe you're looking at. And no one has a problem with carnauba wax, which is very curious considering the problem that they have with some of the other products. There's shellac, which is a very hard wax dissolved in a solvent. There is Danish oil, and there is nitrocellulose. And all three of those are used widely. And every pipe maker will use one, if not more of them, apart from very special finishes like virgin finished pipes with no stain, that are smooth, that will get just the lightest carnauba wax. They're the exception to the rule. Apart from those, then these products will get used on the pipe. And depending on which part of the world you're in, will affect how you've been taught to think about those products. So, this is my experience. All three of them have their uses. A lot of people, certainly in the States and in Europe to some extent, like shellac. And we're talking a super thin, it's sometimes referred to as a spit coat, which is a term I despise, but they're trying to, it's like, it's dabbed on and then wiped off. There's like just the smallest residue left on, just to set the stain, so that the stain doesn't come off on your hands when you're smoking the pipe. Like I say, it's used a lot in the States, where funnily it also has not a great reputation. I don't know why. Some people will insist that it kind of stops the briar from breathing. That's a whole other discussion. I'm not going to get into it. In a sort of Mediterranean region, so like Italy, France, Mediterranean. I'm kind of thinking Mediterranean, but also like Europe region. But I was meant to say Italy, Spain, not France, sort of Greece. Those pipe makers there, they like to use Danish oil. And then in the sort of Germanic region, so Germany, nitrocellulose. Although that's caught on in some other pipe makers as well, because obviously the pipe makers in Germany are quite influential as well. So, what do I like to do? Have I played with shellac? Yes, I played a lot with shellac years ago. And I don't see anything wrong with it. I don't personally like it. Not because I think there's anything wrong with using the substance. I just don't actually enjoy. I don't enjoy using shellac. It's it's too fiddly. If you get it wrong, it can leave a residue. When you're using it on smooth pipes, the solvent that it's in can really rip a lot of the stain out that you've put a lot of time putting in. So just using shellac can affect the look of the pipe. You have to stain your pipe with the effect that the shellac is going to have on the look of the pipe. So there's this taking into account effect that is annoying, especially if you're looking for certain effects. Danish oil. I really like Danish oil, and I use Danish oil on smooth pipes. It's just, that's where I see it best used. It doesn't pull off the stain. It's really thin. It's basically colourless. More or less odourless. I just like it for smooth pipes. And on sandblasted or rusticated, then I like the nitrocellulose. And that's the way I roll. And different people will have something different to say on all of those things. But I do remember, you can search this on the internet. There was once some guys had come up with the perfect product for finishing a pipe with. The finish was porous. I believe the nitrocellulose is porous, but they'd done some work into this, and it included nitrocellulose, and the nitrocellulose finish still allowed the briar to breathe, if you believe that piece of, what should we call it, pipe law. Does briar breathe? I don't know if anyone's ever done the experiments into whether briar breathes. Some people are 100% convinced it does. Some are 100% convinced it doesn't. I've never really looked into it, to be honest. I think there's enough evidence to go either way. We'll have to see. So that's the way I roll. That's all my secrets laid bare. I have not tried Sutliff's Voodoo Queen. The only Sutliff blends I've tried was the Maple Street, that in the last video I wrongly called Easy Street. That was a McClellan blend. Maple Street, and one called Malta Dolce, which is a really awesome aromatic, caramel aromatic, if you like that kind of thing, which I did at the time. All right, I hope that answers your question, Tim. Next one. Dear Eldritch, do you have any background in the arts, and how did you learn your shop skills? Al Molitor. I don't have any official background in the arts. I would just describe myself as artistic. I'm a musician, so I'm artistic in that sense, but not, I didn't paint or draw or carve, anything like that until I started making pipes. But the same creative process of songwriting is in the same core energy is at work. How you channel it is up to you, whether it's songwriting or pipe making. That's all I can say to that. How I got to learn to use my equipment was, okay, so there are a couple of places online. There's still, I believe, the Pipe Makers Forum. And for a while, there was a Pipe Makers Guild that I was part of. Technically, the Pipe Makers Guild still exists. There's a Facebook page for it. But it is now a community of pipe makers rather than strictly pipe makers trading advice, which is what the original incarnation was. Of course, they will trade advice if you ask for it, but you just don't see the on a forum you have all those discussions that people had that you can search and find out stuff without having to ask the same question for the 1000th time. But they're there, and if you have questions, you can ask them. Probably the most complicated piece of equipment I learnt to use was the metal lathe, and I learnt by watching YouTube videos, going slowly and trying to hurt myself as little as possible, because you can really hurt yourself with a metal lathe, and I have occasionally, but nothing too disastrous just yet, and I'm much better now that I'm 6 years in. Everything else tends to be fairly self-explanatory. Band saws, sanding wheels and the like. If you do go the wood lathe route using wood turning tools, that's the most dangerous. And I did start with wood turning tools. I don't do that anymore. Now, without someone directly tutoring you using those, that's dangerous. A couple of times I really nearly did do myself a mischief, and I guess I was just lucky that I didn't. But before I really went deep diving down that route, I got the metal lathe and jumped all of that. That is a skilled craft that requires training in order to not do damage to yourself, because it's you holding the tool, you're right in there. If it goes wrong, you're right in there. It'll go wrong to you. I hope that helps. Yeah, you can't locally go to a pipe tutor and get trained up. I did once visit Chris Asquith, or maybe I visited him twice. And we talk about a few things, but Chris isn't a teacher, and I wasn't there to ask him how to use things. We were just it was a trade of information, and it was faster to do it face to face. But there just aren't many pipe makers in the UK. Well, literally, there's about 4 of us. That's the state of things here. There you go. Let me take a sip before I do the final question for today. I have enjoyed this dark flake. Dear Eldritch, I have tried to summon Yog-Sothoth on several occasions, but alas, to no avail. I draw the diagrams as prescribed, and I burn the correct herbs as I say the words. What am I doing wrong? Your obedient servant, Alistair Crowley. Well, Ali, I've probably told you more than is wise, and to tell you any more would probably be reckless at this point. So all I can say is you'll have to do your own research. What more can I say? You can only go so far with people telling you what to do. You'll have to figure out the last step for yourself. And, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we've got time for today. I shall be back with, if not a tobacco review, then a pipe giveaway. So, until then, take it very easy, and I'll see you soon. Ta-da.